here on the Spiral Ridge site today. We do a quick little walkthrough and just make sure all the installation is complete. So you'll notice that some walls have plastic and some walls don't. The walls that have plastic are all your exterior walls because they need an interior vapor barrier to keep that moisture wicking from getting into the surface of the drywall and causing any mold or mildew issues. On this particular project, we actually sound batted the master suite from the living room area. Also, on the other end of the house, in bedroom 2 and bedroom 3, we separated the 2 guest bedrooms with a sound wall just so that each guest would have their own privacy. In some situations, we actually have to bat a flat ceiling just because of access. For instance, on this home in the dining room, the roof pitch above the dining room ceiling is so low to make everything work outside, you're never going to have access in a ceiling like that to do blown insulation because the roof pitch and the ceiling just do not allow room for a human to get in there and get the job done. As always, our insulation inspection here today just went smooth. Insulation looks tight, vapor barrier is well installed, all the sound bats are installed properly and floor to ceiling. The place just looks great. Ready to start some drywall. Thursday morning, we're back on Spiral Ridge site today. All of our insulation and air seals been inspected by the county and signed off. And we're ready to start hanging some board. On this particular project, Prestige has sent a 2-man crew to hang this job. The reason that we use Prestige Drywall is they've been doing this for years. They're one of the biggest drywall companies around. They are just organized, they're in and out. They measure a job and they basically measure it to the piece of board. And we have very little waste and just an absolute professional installation. Hanging drywall is really an art form. One guy is basically going to be the measurer, and one guy is going to be the cutter. And what's happening here is one guy's going to take all the measurements, he'll call out the size of the board, and call out also where there may be any outlets, switches, etc., anything that's going to penetrate through that drywall. The other guy will then cut that piece out to the numbers his partner's given to him. He'll take his drywall rasp any edges, and then together they'll hang that board up. They're going to hang it up and put temporary screws in it. Then they'll grab a router, and where the boxes are located or wires are located, they'll put the router in, and that router will follow the edge of the box and do a perfect cutout so everything fits perfectly. There's no big open holes or gashes or places for the taper to fix. In the drywall world, you have a 5/8 type X, which is a fire-rated board. You have to separate the garage from the house, so you have to use that 5/8 type X to create that firewall. With the price of product today and the price of materials rising on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, waste is just not something we talk about. One of the reasons that Prestige brings such a quality hanging crew to the job is because then they can count the job sheet by sheet and literally deliver to the sheet what they need here and count on their crew to install it without waste, without breakage, without excess damage. Hanging crew's got a couple sheets left here and they'll have the garage all wrapped up and done. It looks like Prestige has got the interior drywall being delivered right now, and tomorrow we can move in there and start hanging some board. We're back here on the Spiral Ridge site. It's Saturday, 9 a.m. Looks like all of our drywall got delivered on time. Thank you, GTS, for getting everything up here and supplied and stocked in the home, ready for us to move on. The crew's back, ready to start hanging board, and off we go, turning this thing into a house. After months of going through the process of setting this building on the site and putting in the foundation and then bringing in Jade and his crew and doing all the framing, going through all the rough-in stages to get this thing ready for finish, we're finally at that place where we're going to define the rooms. Watching this hanging crew install their board, you can see that when they put up a piece of board, it fits squarely into the corners, plumb on the walls. That's really a testament to the effort and quality that Jade put into framing this home before the drywall was here to be installed. Just like they did in the garage, you got a cut man, and a measuring guy. And they'll literally pre-cut these pieces, and they'll just fit them in like a piece in a jigsaw puzzle. When these guys are hanging a ceiling, this is where their skill level really gets tested. This is where 90% of the breakage happens, and we don't have extra board. Screw it all off, onto the next sheet. We've got to really take their time to make sure the measurements are correct, and then really take their time and make sure they don't break stuff as they put it into place, so we can get that quality finish in our ceiling that we're looking for. These guys are going to go ahead and wrap up the ceiling installation today, and tomorrow we started hanging walls. It's Sunday morning. We're back up here on the Spiral Ridge site. Going to do a little walkthrough today and see how the hangers are doing. They should be moving along with walls pretty well by now. The goal for today is to get the walls hung in the guest bedrooms, office, hallway, associated closets, etc. And that way tomorrow we can just wrap up this drywall job. On this particular project, we're doing a rounded corner with a 6-inch square transition. That means that 6 inches off the floor, we're going to transition from the bottom 6 inches being square to everywhere from that point up to the ceiling being a rounded corner. And we've set that 6 inches based on the base that we're going to install in this house at trim time. All the windows, I go through and I mark out whether that window gets a drywall wrap with a wood sill or some other type of sill, or whether it gets a full wood wrap on it. That way when these guys are hanging the walls, they know whether they need to put the drywall into the windows or wrap certain doors, etc. And they know how to prep the drywall for the corner that's going to go on it. Because you actually hang the board differently based on the corner that's going to be installed later, so that the drywall doesn't get in the way when that corner is being installed. These guys are really moving along today. They've already done the bedrooms, office, closets, and they're in the hallway already. Now that's how you get a job done. They're going to cut everything out with a router. Round electrical boxes and etc. Everything gets cut out with a router for the precision. One of the challenges that these guys face when they're hanging drywall is there's no real power here yet. When they go to do closets, sometimes they get stuck in a tiny little hole trying to put in a big sheet they can hardly see, and they're kind of feeling their way around, but these guys figure out how to get it done. Had a great day today. Hangers finished up their job, absolutely killed it. Tape and crew came in and they just blew this thing out, and we're ready to move on to paint. Now that the drywall task is complete, Shane with Cope's Custom Exteriors is on site. They've set up their cut table, they're ripping some material, siding's going on the wall. Shane's out back setting up and laying out for the decking, but that's a story for next time.